Hello and welcome back. Today we're gonna talk about Zettai Magic. Zettai Magic is a Electroblob addon and it adds a lot of new and cool things. So you add recipes to all items in the mod. It adds contracts, magic contracts, new spells, and a lot of cool. So let's get into it. So the first thing we're gonna get into is the wand. So Zettai Magic adds a new wand, which is the normal wand you have in Electroblob, but it looks different and you craft it differently. This is the craft for it and they all look like. Okay, so the next thing we're gonna get into is all of these items, and all of these items are basically items that you're gonna use to craft things in the future. So but because of everything now gonna have recipes, we will need new. So the first thing is a infused magic crystal, and to make a infused magic crystal you will need some crystals and a small mana flask. After that we will have a magic reagent, and to make that you will need that infused crystal with some medium mana. So using that magic reagent you can make all reagents for each element, so you have all of the elements representing. So the fire one will be destruction reagent, and to make them they're all gonna be the same idea. So you will have a magic reagent in the middle, and then you will have the dust representing that element and the crystal representing that element. And having all of these you will have your 7 elements, you will use them for future crafting. Okay, so now let's get into the first thing, is the contracts. So that I adds some new spells, or basically new magic scrolls that you're gonna use them to do things. So the first thing is you're gonna have a magic contract. So what a magic contract does is that you can make a contract with a skull or anything, and you can use it for one use. So if I sneak and right click that skull or that skeleton head or any head, I made a contract with it, and using that I can use the contract to summon that mob, but it's one use only. So here I summoned it and now it's my zombie, but it's a one use only. So because I'm in creative, I only get it for once. Yeah, so I'll kill that so it won't keep annoying us. Okay, so let's get into more stuff. Next thing we have a teleportation scroll. So what a teleportation scroll does, so teleporting in Electroblob normally is very hard. The teleportation scroll is not that expensive to make and it's very useful, and you get like 8 scrolls at once. So you can just right click a place, sneak and right click a place, and now you will remember this place, and it will tell you, if you look at the bottom, still strange numbers appear, so meaning that you remember this place. If I go far I can use it, and it's also one use. By right clicking I will go back. Okay, after that we have here a magic barrier, and a magic barrier is a very powerful item. So by summoning the magic barrier on the ground, mobs can't go inside that barrier, so mobs will be pushed away. And also you can make that magic barrier bigger using grand magic crystal, and you're thinking grand magic crystal are very expensive, but in Zettai you can craft grand magic crystal. So if I search for a grand magic crystal here, I click on it, there is a recipe for it, combining all the crystals from all of the elements with a magic reagent that will make you 1 grand crystal. And this barrier can increase, and obviously it has a limit, but it's a very big limit, and you can craft or build your house around it, and you have a magic barrier that will protect your house. That's really cool. Okay, let's get into more stuff. So we got the magic barrier, so now we have some like things that look cool. So we have a magic mark. So a magic mark is like it's just a mark here, and you can see, and it will have these cool effects. Also we have a magic projection scroll, which basically will project your powers, and you can if you right click it here, it will change depending on the element you have, and it just looks cool. And you can also make that into a bigger one, and you can just make it and change the colors on it. Okay, now there's a new thing. So we have a wand. Now we can also make magical gloves. So these magical gloves you can craft in the normal one, which is the normal apprentice one, and you can increase it normally like a normal wand. And to craft it you will need some magic crystals and a black wool, and you can make a white version of it with a white wool, and using that you will have your glove. So the difference between this and that is that the glove have a different animation and they have different powers. So a glove has 40 potency, a wand has 60 potency, but this so there's a difference between it. But also a glove has magic potency, this and wands have usually potency to their element, so it's really different. So and it also works with the way you want, and also has the different animation. So like I want to aim on this guy. Do you see my, if you notice on my glove will like make animation also, so it has a like a different animation. Let's kill that zombie. Okay, so and these are for the glove. Now there's more things. So there's artifacts added by Zettai, and some of these artifacts you have to find them. Some of them have recipes. So let's get into all of them. So I'll just clear my inventory here. Okay, so the first one is Arcane Knot. And what is the Arcane Knot? That it provides you power and it makes you deal more damage when you use magic related spells. And we will get into all of the magic related spells. Second one is a magic crystal, and that will save you from critical damage on the cost of grand magic crystal. The grand magic crystal is going to be very useful here, and since you can craft them, it's not going to be very hard. Now we have Cloak of Shadows, and that cloak will infuse with some spell, will hide the caster from the wall. So basically it's like an invisibility bubble. Okay, now we have the Cloak of Light, which when you sneak and right click, you will make a source of light. So it's basically this clock is infused with a spell inside it, which will make you. Okay, we have Arcane Clock, which will give you a protection. So it will give the wearer a protection from magic and other damage sources, so 25% and 10%. We have the Clock of Winds, which is, so this clock when enchanted by grade 3, this was given to these that worship it as a symbol of their unwavering loyalty. And basically when you are in nature, you will get this buff, which is move speed. So you get it, it's like a wind clock, so you get move speed. The last one is the Clock of Gravity. So what Clock of Gravity does is that look at this, looks super cool. Okay, now let's go back to the Clock of Gravity. So if you sneak with the Clock of Gravity in your hand, you get levitation, which basically it's like anti-gravity. Okay, and it's just simple like that. Okay, and that was the last artifact from Zettai Magic. So now for the spells. Before I get into trying all of the spells, I want to talk about Zettai Magic. So what Zettai adds is that you can have a recipe for all of the spells. So, and the recipes for them are gonna be hard. So they're not just gonna, and you're also gonna still have to explore, since you have to get an astral diamond for most of them, and you don't have a recipe for that. So you will have to go and explore, but you can still craft them. So that gives you the ability to craft all of the spells, and there is a recipe for most of the books, and there's more recipes always added by Zettai. Okay, so I would really recommend, if you play this mod or Electroblob, and you have to try to add a mod that will give you recipes to everything. So now let's get into the spells. So the first thing, or the first element we're gonna get into, is the non-elemental spells. So I want to get a zombie here so we can try stuff on them. So the first thing is mana burning, and it makes this animation of burning mana, and it looks really cool. Okay, now we have piercing magic missiles. So with normal magic missiles, this is like an upgraded version, so it deals more damage than the normal. Okay, magic notes. So magic notes, by using the magic notes, you cast a magic note would give you a random buff. So I got resistant. Okay, so let's see. After a magic projection, magic projection is the same as the idea of like the magic contract or the magic scroll. So, and you have the same. Okay, let's go. Mana flasking one. So mana flasking ones is basically by casting this spell, you will have to channel it first. You will get a mana flask. So mana flasking one will give you a mana flask. So this is gonna make a small one. It's an easier way of making the mana flask, but you don't get as much mana, so it's really more expensive to make the mana flask using a wand. After that, we have great magic missiles. So it's the same one that I used to kill mobs at the beginning. So look at that. Okay, after that we have Mark of Immunity. So Mark of Immunity is a very strong buff, but it takes time to channel, and when you do that, you will get a lot of buffs. Okay, so let's see. So all of the buffs that we have water breathing, mind fatigue 2, resistant, and fire resistance. So these all of the buffs that I got. Okay, let's go back to creative. Okay, sharpness enchanted. So sharpness enchanted, what it does, it enchants a weapon with you, and these enchantment are these spells. So all of the spells that have enchantment with you, they take a while to use. So like this, and when I'm done with it, you will get a sharpness chanting on your sword. When you're done, you will enchant your sword, so I'll get sharpness too. And there's something very important. So it takes this whole time, and at the end, it will take XP from you. So if you don't have XP, don't run the spell because you won't use it, and it will just be a huge waste of time. Next spell we have is magic binding, and magic binding, what it does, it binds those items to you, so you're the owner of that item, and it's really important, especially when you have like very expensive items now in Electroblob, and you will have it will take you so long to do that, and especially if you, like, for example, have Zettai Grimoire and you got the ultimate Grimoire, you don't want to lose very expensive items. Okay, mana flasking 2, the mana flasking 2 will make you a medium mana flask, and mana flasking 3 will make you the large one, and they all have the same idea. They will cost more to make them. Portion enchanting, that will give you portion enchanting on your weapon, and the grand magic missiles, it's the best version of all of them, and it makes this explosion. So let's try it on this mob. It explodes, it deals high damage and knockback. These are all the spells for the non-elemental spells. For the fire element, we have the first spell is ignition, and ignition is a better version of ignite, and it stays for longer, and it deals more damage overload. Second one is explosion. So when you hit a mob, it will do a small explosion. After that, we have internal ignite, and this one is a very tricky one. If you hit this spell it has a small range, and if you hit the spell, this person that you hit will forever be on fire. But if you miss that spell, you will be on fire. You have to be careful with it. After that, we have great explosion. So you can guess it. And we have a bigger version of the explosion, and that takes a while to use a spell. And you have to be careful with these explosion spells. They're very powerful. And that's what I meant with you have to be very okay. So the last spell, which is the strongest spell, so it have a fire sword. So what this spell does is that after you use this spell, it will summon a flame soul next to all the mobs around, and it will just make them all explode. Let's try. You see, that's what I mean with a very strong fire spell. That's how much fire it would, just because from one soul. Okay. For the ice spell, so the first spell we have is clearing, and this one, what it does is that it removes all the bad effects from you, and it also gives you a speed boost. Okay, after that we have ice breath, and what it does is just gives you this boost to the sky, and if you spam this, you will fly to the sky very fast. Get this? Okay, so the next spell we have is ice splash, and what it does, it just freezes things around you, and they'll make them shatter and deal damage to them. Okay. After that we have ice storm. Ice storm will freeze everything around you in 40 meters radius, so that's how big it is. It freezes everything in 40 meters radius. Okay. For the hero spells, we have the first spell is light. You will spawn the light spell. After that, presence, which is basically a flash bomb. After that, we have infinite light, so it's an infinite source of light. We have Define Mark, which will give you an immunity or like a buff. Okay, after that we have Smite Enchanting, so that will be as an enchantment that will enchant any item you have to smite. Last thing is Blessing, which it will bless you and all of your allies, and it will be a very good buff to all of you and all of your allies. And you buff all of your allies too. So it's really strong fights. For the necromancer spells, we have the first spell is Seal of Dread, and what it does is that you seal the mob, and when you seal that mob, that mob will fear you, and it won't attack you. And you can unseal them by using the same spell on them again, or you can just wait for the duration to end. And the other one we have is Seal of Confusion, and what it does when you put it on a mob, it will have different. So if for an undead mob it will give them slowness, for a not undead mob it will give them like nausea and stuff like that. So it will be different from an undead to another, not one, to another one. Okay, we have the last spell is high weather, and it will just put a weather effect on all the things around you and put on them weakness, and just makes everything around you very weak and just annoying. And look at this spell, how big it is. For the nature element, we have the first spell is wind cut. So what it does, it just cuts flowers and grass and stuff like that by using the spell on them. Okay. After that we have speed up, and it's really fast. So we get speed 4. We have natural terror, which what it does, it removes the rain from rain, and it has a specific, so you can't use it unless it's already night. Okay, we have natural empowering, which will buff you. So you get haste 4. Invoke weather, that will changing weather have a limitation here, so this one will only work in the day. We have wind dance, and that's a speed, and this one is very fast. Look at this, you're very fast. Okay, for the last nature spell we have gas grasp, and what it does is that will, when you channel this spell, it will stamp all mobs around you to the ground, and that means that all of the mobs can't move, and you can channel this spell, and it will take 10 mana for you everything, and all mobs are gonna be stunned. But this spell cannot be supported in the nether end, so it only can work in this world. For lightning abilities we have only one master ability, and it's Thunder Rage. And it destroys throw the thunder at everything, and it will just set them on fire. It's really powerful. Sorcery abilities. So we have the first ability is Or Conjure 1, and we have all of them like 1, 2, 4. So what it does is that when you use that spell, it will give you cold. And most of the sorcery abilities here are more of like utilities, so they will give you something or help you with something. So we have 2 that will give you iron, and we have infinite light. It's the same idea as the infinite light you get from light spells. We have exchange for emerald. So here's the 2 spells here. So exchange for an emerald or a diamond, which will exchange a diamond for an emerald or an emerald for a diamond. We have repair. What it does, it will take an item in your offhand, and what it will take that and convert that item into experience. We have exchange for emerald, and V, which is the 5th one, that will give you a gold. I have gravity interpretation. What it does, it will just manipulate gravity. And it's really good because most mobs will die from one gravity fall like that. Okay. So, and we have the exchange for diamond, and the last 2 spells is Interrupt. What it does, it will take an item and repair it on the cost of mana, and that's really good. And we have Lucky Charm. It will use the use of like power of natural to give you luck, and that's luck 3 for 20. That's very good. And that was the last spell in the sorcery. That's it for Zettai Magic. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'm gonna leave a link in the description. Also, I'm gonna leave a link for my Discord if you wanna join. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you for watching. Have a nice day. Bye.